Using your voice when boundaries are crossed is a little bit like shutting the chicken coop once the birds have flown, in the sense that using your voice to name the boundary before it happens is often the most effective thing to do. And I had this experience this week of, as head of household, making requests and expressing what I expected to happen in the house many, many times. And then having members of my household tell me that these things, yes, would happen. And then they didn't, and they didn't, and they didn't. And I found my boundaries really being crossed by this. But I'm dealing with young people. I'm dealing with my sons. And if I don't name that this is actually a boundary for me, they won't recognize that it's a boundary. It just comes to them as their mother telling them something they need to do. And it kind of just goes off in the ether of all the other things that they pay more attention to. So I realized when I became completely furious and actually not out of control in front of my family members, but privately completely out of control because I was so angry, that my boundary had really been crossed. And because I had not named this as a boundary, it was harder for those around me to recognize it as such. And the thing is, my kids really quite well understand issues of boundaries and consent. It's very much part of how they've been brought up. But if I don't say this is a boundary, they'll just go and do what they need to do in that moment. So as a vocal coach, I think it's fascinating to really examine what using our voice means in its full entirety, not just the physical, but also the emotional. Also, how do we have agency and empowerment in the world? And the last thing that I'll leave you with today is this. And hello in the UK over there. If we are people of privilege and power, as I sometimes am in society simply by virtue of being a white woman in California, and I go around behaving as if everyone that I meet has that same level of power and privilege, I might simply act without asking and act without sensitivity, because I will be assuming everyone around me we're all equal here, right? And assume that others can use their voices or feel comfortable being empowered to use their voices in the same way that I do. I also, as a woman, have been on the receiving end of this attitude with people of power and privilege. So I understand that it's really important for us to also understand our own position when it comes to agency and empowerment, and not wait to know from someone whether we have crossed their boundary, but also understand, where do we stand? And where do they stand? And can we be sensitive, not just wait for that boundary to be crossed? We can also ask. And this is really important, I think. And I think I'm actually really appreciative that I've been able to be on both sides of this situation, because it's given me more insight into how I need to show up, but also how I need to be sensitive to others, not all having the same background, agency, and privilege that I do. So here's to unlocking your performance power wherever you are in your world today.